Welcome back, folks. This is Annette of AnnetteLeonard.com, joining you again for some chronic wellness. We are picking up with our fourth segment of my interview with Mike Porath. So here he is, founder and CEO of TheMighty.com. And if you are not there, get there, because it is a powerful platform for any of us with health conditions to talk about. Here we go. I was going to ask you about how the name came about, so I so appreciate that story just came organically.
Yeah.
What are your hopes for the Mighty and the platform for the future? What would you like to see, or what is coming? Tell me more about what we're looking to in the future for the Mighty.
I think one of the things that we're trying to do more of is really understanding the impact that it's having on people. We know it's a positive impact. We're doing a lot of research with institutions like Harvard and Columbia, University of Maryland, UCLA, and others to really actually look at the impact that it's having on folks. So for instance, that we did our first study that we did with Harvard, which was about a 6-month study, looked at suicide. I mean, we have a platform where people are very open around suicidal thoughts and things like that. And they actually approached us and said they were fascinated by how vulnerable people were on the platform. And it was a research team that specifically focused on suicide. And they said, we believe that your content and participating in your community is likely helping people, but we want to figure that out. And we could be wrong. It could be a trigger in some ways, right? And so when we said, well, we would certainly like to understand, better, like what the impact is. And so we did this project, and it turned out, it hasn't been published yet, but the results were, yes, in fact, we were actually decreasing suicide ideation among folks. And so now we're doing actually a second study to go much deeper in there, but we're doing different disease states with some different researchers at institutions to look at the impact and to see, the more we understand about how we're helping people, the better experience I think we can provide. So that's, in terms of the future, much of it is going to be geared based on, actually like scientific results on what's happening in the community, the impact of it, and then how we can create a better experience to, continue to, help people that way. And then the other, I would say, is just, how do we reach a lot more people? So as you said, we've been around we started 6 years ago, and you discovered us a year ago, right? So how do we get in front of a lot more people so that they can, find us? We have 3 million members in the community now. Our stories reach a whole lot more people. We've actually, about a third of our members are outside the US. And so we reach a lot of people internationally. However, the folks that are writing in different languages, people have written, I think, in about a little over 70 languages at this point on the platform. But the truth is, we're not serving those folks very well. We don't translate our content in all their languages and all of those things. So I think we have a long way to go to actually take the experience that we have in English and actually make it accessible for people, no matter what language that they, whatever their native languages are.
Mm-hmm. That's exciting.
It's exciting, but it's a tall task.
Challenge. A challenge. And I expect there are people worldwide eager to be a part of that solution.
I hope so, yes. I mean, that's one of the nice things about starting something that, I think almost anyone would look at us and say, you're doing, some type of social good, is that it's a lot easier to ask for help. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot more people who want to help. Just in terms of growing the team, most of the people that work here have health conditions themselves. Some take care of, people with health conditions. But we got really talented people who made a decision to join this because they believe deeply in the mission. And so it wasn't necessarily about the pay or, other things. It was that they really they were at a point in their career where they wanted to really contribute to something that was maybe more meaningful than, past work experiences.
Yeah.
And so again, I think starting something that is an enterprise that is seen as doing some good in the world, it actually is, makes it easier to grow because there are a lot of people who want to contribute in some way.
Yeah. Well, and the results study, like the one from Harvard and others in the future, is proving that it's not just seen as doing good in the world. Like it is, there's documented evidence that it's doing some good in the world, aside from just transforming the experience of people like myself who feel alone in our experiences and feel isolated and need reminders that I am not my disease,
Yeah.
and I am not alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you say that, that I am not alone, one of the things we discovered, and it took us a little time to figure this out, was what we're ultimately solving for is isolation.
Yeah.
It's not that, we're not providing, medical services to people and all of that, but the emotional impact that is there is it's so great. And when, again, someone gets diagnosed with something that, again, it's unexpected, and those feelings of being, lost, scared, alone, they're so real. And it's I think that's ultimately where the mighty comes into play. Is, we want it to be easier and easier for folks to find others like them that have gone through this. And then again, that the power of shared experiences in health it's just so powerful.
Yeah.
And, if we can capture a bit of that, I think we can, continue to do a lot more good in the world.
I agree. And even as you say that, I'm thinking about the times that I am likely to respond to a comment on the mighty. And so, if somebody says, my pain is out of control today, or my spouse, didn't understand this thing that happened, or my family wanted me to do this thing and didn't understand when I said I can't because my pain, the most common thing I find myself replying to on the mighty is, that seems so painful. I can tell that you're hurting. You're
Yep.
not alone.
Yep.
And it's the exact same medicine I need, is why I know to say it. I mean, I'm only saying back to them what I know I need said to myself in those moments.
Yes. And even it's the emotional side, but then there's tips out there. I mean, I remember one of the things that my daughter really struggled with early on was what they call pincher grasp, which is just putting your thumb and forefinger, together. And most kids just pick it up at some point and they just get it. And she didn't. And, we had her working with physical therapists, and occupational therapists and all that. And it was stressful because we couldn't, I could tell it was upsetting to her. She couldn't pick something up and put it in her mouth, or, something like that. And in one of those moments of frustration, I put on a message board, has anyone else experienced this? And it was a woman from halfway around the world who replied back, very quickly after I posted it, saying, yeah, I've been through this. Here's what to do. And she said, get a sock, cut 2 holes in it for her forefinger and her thumb, go find her favorite food, put a sock on the other hand and put that favorite food in front of her, and she's going to figure out
new motivation,
right?
New motivation.
So
genius.
Right? But it was, a doctor's not going to give you that advice. I mean, huge respect for doctors in the medical, profession, but they have not had this experience before. Another mom has, and again, that was just one of those moments that stuck in my head, saying the future of healthcare could really be, much more around people coming together and sharing the wisdom that we've all gained through our life experiences, but applying it particularly to health.
Yes.
And that's, one of the things that we're trying to do. And it's great to, go on the app, and I'm scrolling through and I see little things like that. I'm like, wow, I get how impactful small things like that can be because I've lived through them.
Well, and potent thing to imagine that that we can sort of crowdsource our own solutions because you are offering this platform. All right, folks, you will not want to miss tomorrow our 5th and final interview, the wrap up with Mike Porath, where he talks a bit about wellness for himself, what lights him up, what keeps him functioning. And I hope that prompts you to think about how you do that yourself, what self-care looks like, how you're meeting your own needs. And as ever, I'm so grateful for your time and attention, and I hope that you are paying attention to your own spirit and well-being. And until we're together again, thank you for your time and attention. And please make space and time and effort to be well.